Hi. How we doing? Welcome in. Hi, I'm Chef Jay Tay. Happy to see all of you back. How you be doing? Welcome, welcome. Hello there, Will Poker. Welcome in, JK. Hello, Soph. Welcome, Valley. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see, get everything situated here. Hey there. How is everyone doing this wonderful Friday? Friday. It's not Friday. It's Sunday. Oops. Well, happy Sunday, everyone. Hopefully you've had a lovely weekend. My brain has not been very functional today. Today, not necessarily... It's just not been working out today in particular. This isn't making noise, is it? Thank you, Soph. Hi, Soph. Blah, 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 blah. I get nervous when, like, anything is, like, playing a video or something while I'm streaming because, like, first off, all that NDA stuff. Not NDA, I don't have an NDA. I mean, all of that DMCA stuff. And... you don't really know for sure what, like... You can see and look up there and it says what is going out and what is not playing, and I should be hearing everything other than the version of music that you're hearing. I'm hearing the same music but just at a different volume. It just gets you worried that the wrong thing's gonna play, or... And after I just spent all day just nitpicking things, trying to get things, it's gonna be a while before cutting glass. It's... And it may now... We'll see how things go here, but... it may mean another revision over here again. It's never ending. You change one thing and it changes 5 others. No, I'm mostly just, well, some of it's tedious. Some of it's I'm just dealing with things I shouldn't have to be bothering with. Or I'm bothering with things that shouldn't be bothering me. Yeah. Let me put it this way. I've spent at least 3 hours today messing around with the setup back there. I have no idea if it's what I'm actually going to even use. Did the video switch for me for any of that? Or was I just talking to all of you with my back of my head to you? Why am I hearing an echo too? Oh, well, thank you. Let's see here. Thank you all for watching. Cheers. Maybe should have thought about getting some water, some butter defrosted ahead of time. That might have... Wow. Why am I hearing a double? Why is it picking up on that? Why is that not properly ducting? Let me check my filters here. Let's try that. That's still not all that great, but we'll live with it. I want to throw you in the microwave. We'll throw one of the purple plates in the microwave. One of my permanently scarred up purple plates. I have no qualms at all about throwing Strauss's paper in the microwave. This stuff sort of scares me. Excuse me a moment, I'm gonna go use some eye drops. Why you no following me, camera? Let's see here. Buttering a 9x13 off to the side here. I don't know why I'm not doing this over camera. Let's do this over camera on my cutting board that I still need to clean. Why I didn't have the camera switched either is my bad habit from cheersing everyone in chat and not changing the scene after. So we're doing butter mochi cake tonight, which is what I'm started on. And then I'm going to be doing Loco Moco, or Loco Moco, not Moto. Darn Motorola. So we've got ourselves a buttered pan. Why? I was being so careful about that, and it still goes like 0.3 over. You need to stay? This is waiting for me to look away, isn't it? One. Two. Surprisingly, for a cake that's not really supposed to rise, fair amount of baking powder. Oh, salt. Salt. So we got all of our dries. Now for our wets. Yeah, huh. Two cups. Turning talk to current events. I think tomorrow I'm going out and doing a special shopping event. I don't know what you're staring at the ceiling for again, camera. I know you love looking at your other camera, but I am not up there. Anyways, back to recent events. I totally forgot what I was going to say about recent events. Camera, you got me all kerfuffle. It's all your fault my brain is not working today because I can't sleep properly. Took a nap before stream, and quite seriously one of those... What? Where'd the time go? I didn't do it. What? Top of the hour already? Oh no, it's giving me a 5-minute warning again. Oh, other news. Now that I remembered. Hey, I remembered something. I'm thinking of doing a special shopping trip tomorrow on top of my normal. And I'm actually going to recommend this maybe to all of you out there in chat that haven't been priced out of buying beef at this point. It's not getting cheaper. Like, we're going to be seeing some probably even more stratospheric prices with beef if this fly thing, like, it's like it's already a thing. It's going to happen. I don't know if people are following the news here, but this whole fly event is most likely going to be the start of a mass slaughter. And we're going to have one of those major, horrible events where we just have to kill cows. And so I'm actually thinking of going out and buying some bulk beef tomorrow. And, you know, portioning up ground beef and throwing it in the freezer, that sort of a thing. I normally don't like buying beef unless I'm buying like a half or a quarter or something like that. Not a big fan of buying and keeping frozen beef. Okay, so we got those. We need you. And we need how much melted butter? How come I don't like buying and freezing beef? Well, for a couple of reasons. One, you lose power and your freezer goes out, which I've had happen before. It's not fun. Two, you're paying to keep that frozen. And three, it does not improve in quality sitting in your freezer. It doesn't completely stay in stasis. It just stops most things from breaking it down. They still break it down over a longer time. And so, yeah, I just don't like all the way across. Though that said, I don't have time to do that either. But the next thought that entered my mind was, I have that wonderful grinder over there I was gifted a couple of years back. And maybe I should buy some actual beef myself and do the grind myself. I could even make it a stream, but I don't have, like, it's gonna be, like, I don't have the time. Okay, so we've got milk, evaporated milk, we've got melted butter, mostly melted butter. It's going to be completely melted here in a moment. Oh, swirling. Ciao, Capitano. Nice, so... And it wouldn't be all that bad here in California if we didn't basically wipe out everything but our dairy industry. Like, they just kicked the last of the... a majority of the last of the dairy farmers here in Sonoma out. A lot of them were farming on land that is now part of some trust. It says, no, you can't do that. Alright, what am I forgetting in this concoction? Vanilla. And that was after the whole Marin Sun Farms takeover of the local the actual beef butchery shop. Not the fake butchers they have all over the place that break the big parts down into little parts. The places where they actually did the the dirty deed. Okay, mixing. Let me double check we got everything here. Other than the coconut. The evaporated milk in this recipe would normally be coconut milk. Hi, Dan Reader. So we're skipping the coconut milk and any coconut pulp in this. A lot of these recipes have some of both. Gotta get that vanilla in there. Double checking we're in 350 oven. Put coffee remains away. Vanilla away. We have our buttered tray. We have extra butter that I'm not going to use that I microwaved. That's alright. I needed butter in here anyways. Alright, so this is now set to go in the oven. Move this over here so that it's ready to go down there. Rather liquidy. Little lumpy, but I mixed those lumps up. It wasn't like they were completely unmixed lumps. They were lumps that reconstituted lumps. That's right, you heard me. I'm mildly okay with lumps that are reconstituted. Let's clean up this cutting board that I haven't cleaned off yet today. AC over there making noises like caught a leaf. Why are you so off kilter? Please don't fall off. Stay. That camera is staying up with hopes and prayers. What is Hawaii? I on Sundays am doing all of the different U.S. territories and states, and we're on Hawaii this week. And so I'm making butter mochi cake, which I just finished whipping up. That's what you're seeing right up there. That's don't get to do that much on stream. I don't know why, but butter mochi cake. And then ready to go in the oven. Oven is preheating. It's not quite up to temperature yet. And then I'm going to be making Loco Moco. Basically, every Sunday I'm going through the different territories and U.S. states and sort of picking something that I find interesting of the notable, or I would have to ask you what makes it authentic or not. I'm going alphabetically, so no, we have not made it to Texas yet. Probably not doing authentic rice to Loco Moco, but I am doing rice and ground beef. Gonna make a gravy, gonna do an onion gravy. I've got some dried mushrooms I was thinking of throwing in there. And then fried egg on top. Little green onion. Yeah, that's the general plan. I will point out to everyone, although I will be pulling this cake out of the oven during tonight's stream, hopefully. It's going to take an hour once the oven's up to temp. It's one of those recipes where you want to bake it and let it set. So it's going to take a bit of while to cool down and be yummy. Okay, done with that. Good with that. We're waiting on our oven, basically, because I don't want to... Let's do a little cleanup while we're waiting on the oven. How's everyone's Sunday? How you been? How's the weekend been? Anyone go out to a craft fair or antiquing, or any hikers out there? What'd you all do? Y'all sat on your butts and watched YouTube and Twitch, didn't you? Yeah, I thought so. That's what I did. Oh, did I miss some moisturize? The music, neither. The music is epidemic. Lose my earbud trying to read chat. Big garage sale with several streets. Wow. Oh, that had to have been fun. We done heating up here yet, oven? What you waiting on? Is there a Tesla Street the next street over? Hi, Splits. Sorry, I didn't notice that until just now. What's wrong, bot? Yeah, you don't need to worry about that. Hi, Alex. Welcome in. Happy Sunday. I'm awake now. I don't think I was awake when I started stream. For those just joining in, we have Butter Mochi cake ready to go in the oven. And the oven is now ready for said cake. Hey, how convenient. And we're going to set a 1 hour timer. Great success. I need you clean now. I avoided cleaning you earlier when I melted butter, but now we need you for the rice. Let that drain out for a moment. And we'll get started on our gravy, I guess, next. Yeah. Thank you for the follow. We just not having any alerts show up, or I'm not hearing any of them. That might be part of my problem. It wasn't on monitor. Interesting. Are overlays showing properly for follows and for moisturize and all of that? I hope. Actually, is that how I want to do this? Nah, I sort of want to slice these. Alright, butter melted. Pan's taking longer to heat up than I remember. We're going to start off by sauteing onions. And let's see, are these mushrooms even worth... I've had these for a minute. Let's go with them. We'll take some of those and give them a soak. Alright, so we got our pan warm finally. We'll add red onions. Salt. And turn it down now that we got it all started. And give these a chop up now that they've mildly rehydrated. Not entirely, obviously, you can tell from hearing. And for those that weren't paying attention there, those are rehydrating and a bit of Maker's Mark. Is it really Is it really rehydrating when you're using alcohol? There's got to be a different term for that. It shouldn't have been high enough boost to light, but still I was mildly concerned for a moment. Anything else we're adding to that? We're going to use garlic powder with that, so I guess we'll mix up our beef bouillon with, or at least I hope I don't have two chicken. Nope, we have beef. Good. Mix up some bouillon in a glass with water for our gravy base. I can smell that makers, or at least the wood. Let that dissolve for a second while we move our attention back over the other side here and add our butter that we melted earlier in here. We'll start making a roux. I have a feeling I may be smothering my rice more than most Loco Mocos. Most of the photos that I see of this dish, there's gravy, but it ain't like gravy. And I'm making gravy. Turn the heat up, get this back up to a boil so it fully thickens. Meanwhile, chat's been going off while I've been turned around. Yes, more gravy, always good. Rice. Oh, hey, we thickened back up now. Stop paying attention till you start boiling. Alright, now we got ourselves a gravy. A little soy in there. Leave that out and probably finishing that on the rice. Little splash of acidity. I'm debating what I want to use to do that with. Let's do apple cider vinegar. And a little Worcestershire. We'll turn that down. Nice low. And just let it bubble. We got another 40 minutes on our first timer for the cake. Cake recipe is 60 to 70 minutes estimate. And so I set it for 60. May need another 10. That's interesting. Is that a crow or a raven? What are you? There's something hanging out. There's a bird on the back of my truck. Over there. It's scoping out looking for something. Searching for prey. It's on the prowl. But like black on black on black on black bird, like magpies fighting in bird bath all the time. I thought they were more of an Australian thing. Are they everywhere? And it just be a different name thing? What was the Hitchcock movie? The Crows, the Ravens? What? I should remember this because the reason I was bringing it up is it was filmed in Sonoma County. Like just over there. Just over there. I've seen it, but it's been probably 10 years. Oh, it was the birds. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we got this going. A little bit early for getting the beef or the rice going. So I guess we can just sit here with the gravy for a little bit while we let cake cook for a bit. Though on the other hand, let's get our liquids going for the rice. Bit more beef bouillon in with the rice. Garlic powder. I forgot about garlic. Add some garlic and garlic powder, some pepper to this sauce. Gravy. Liquid. Splash of lemon juice in with the rice. Bay Area Library abruptly closes under mysterious circumstances. Huh. Well, it's in Sonoma, too. One of the West County libraries is closed for environmental reasons, and they're not saying what the environmental reason is. Though it's California, we have environmental reasons for everything. I've got things sort of hidden from you here, apparently. Let's go back. Let's go to a full stove view there. You can see the gravy slowly bubbling along with the water here. Are we about to enter a new phase of war? Have we already entered a new phase after last night? Crumble, crumble, crumble. there was news about the border border force, holding up the Iranian World Cup people and their staff for 7-8 hours, sort of a thing, and turned 1 or 2 of them back. I'm a little shocked that they're here at all right now. Like, while I'm all for world event being inclusive of everyone, and I'm just sort of surprised it's happening. I'm not against it. So there's that, too. What else we got in food news here? Internets. Thank you for the follow. Absolutely nothing in that. Ooh, salt and straws for sale. Further ice cream consolidation. For those unfamiliar, Salt and Straw has been one of those brands that's been made a name itself for new flavors and all that in recent years, interesting combinations and that sort of stuff. And they're apparently for sale. Like, COVID did a number on restaurants, but it really did a number on ice cream. Alright, we're going to start cooking water for our rice now. In case you're curious, there was not heat underneath this until just now. You had, we had 3 twins. I think the sort of start of it in the consolidation was actually here in Sonoma with 3 twins. They were going to consolidate into a larger company, or started to, and then decided that they weren't going to be able to be financially feasible and closed shop, which is a shame because they had an amazing lemon cookie ice cream. And then we've now seen the Unilever split, where they split off all of their ice cream companies into Magnum, including Ben & Jerry's, and one of the other names are now all Magnum ice cream. Ben & Jerry's is fighting them for independence again. There were a whole bunch of smaller upstarts that were making all sorts of names for themselves, and they seem to have... Like, I'm not following the news of all of them, but it seems like a fair number of them seem to have disappeared. And now you got this, which was a brand that was making national news with their products, or at least making enough to pay for national news advertising their products. And they're now going bye-bye. mulberries are in season. Sonoma, the strawberries are everywhere, so they're apparently in season here now. I came up with a fun plan for next Friday. I'm trying to think of things to just chat about. Dinner next Friday, I'm going to be making cauliflower nachos. I thought that was an interesting concept. It's not a new concept, but I thought it was an interesting one. It's still going to involve cheese, and I'm thinking of putting chicken on it, so it's not going to be vegan either, but it's certainly more protein friendly or anti-carb friendly. I'm also sure debating between, do I just do thin sliced roasted cauliflower, or do I do like cauliflower crisps with a combination of cauliflower and Parmesan? And the Parmesan, I'm sort of feeling, the reason that I'm not thinking the Parmesan, I'm more leaning towards just doing the cauliflower or maybe a light Parmesan with it, is because the Parmesan's mostly just going to disappear with everything else going on there, and why am I spending money on nice Parmesan when we're going to douse it with a bunch of other delicious things? I've also seen, after having this idea on my own and then looking it up and be like, well, who else has done this? There are... Oh, my plant's got a flower. That's nice. Anyways, there were ones that I noticed that were just like hunks of roasted cauliflower with everything else on there as sort of a like intending you're just going to poke it with a fork and just drag it through and pick everything else up. And I don't know if I don't think that's really the way I want to go, but I don't know if I'm really going to get roasted cauliflower all that crisp. I don't think it's going to dry out. I don't have a Hawaiian background. What you on, bot? Silly bot. I've never even been to Hawaii. I should probably fix that. But I haven't been... I don't know if I really want to fly right now. So, rice going in. Salt going in. Lid going back on top. Hey Chris, welcome in. We got our gravy going on the stove. We're making some rice. The cake's in the oven. Got a little less than 18 minutes on the timer for our first timer for the cake. Uh-oh. Where is California messing up now? Apparently there's now a Californian banh mi. Traditional Vietnamese baguettes. Well, there's your first strike. The whole thing about banh mi is they're using traditional French baguettes when the French were all over Vietnam. Alright, but Vietnamese baguettes from Paris Bakery. Filled with carne asada. That's an interesting switch. And garnished with cilantro jalapeno crema. Vietnamese mayonnaise. So, yeah. Pickled vegetables. They don't say what type of vegetables, and that's sort of important. Cilantro, cucumber, jalapenos, and served with french fries. It sounds tasty, but it's nowhere close to what I think of with a banh mi. Like, what? Like, the only thing that's even pulling it closer to that is Vietnamese mayonnaise, which I don't even know what they're doing to the mayonnaise to make it Vietnamese, maybe adding some fish sauce. No, not buying that. Not buying that. Where's the pate? Where's the... It's just... It's like a cheesesteak with veggies. Hey, Mimic. Welcome, welcome. Bacon bullet. No, it's still staying. I haven't changed the icons or anything. When the rice is pretty much there, we'll get started in on the other stuff here. The problem is do we... I need to figure out if this is going to be the stop for the cake or not. Because if I do the Loco Moco and then have another 10 minutes... Like, as we're standing, I can hot hold the rice, no big deal. I can just let the rice sit, no big deal. The gravy is just going to get a little more homogeneous the longer we cook it. I'm probably going to have to add more water if we cook it longer, but it's going to be perfectly fine. It's when we start getting into searing beef and cooking eggs that it's like, are we ready to do this? A dough burger. This southern hard time staple is having a resurgence. What's a dough burger? Uh, It's a hamburger whose patty has had a dough-related extender, like stale bread, breadcrumbs, or in Jackson's case, a sprinkling of flour. It's a meatloaf burger. Which is really sort of strange, because the photo they showed of it made it look like there was no burger at all. Made it look like there was just toppings and a bun. And I was sitting there staring at that, reading through half of that article, being like, are they really just putting ingredients on a bun and calling it a hamburger? But apparently they just make a hamburger with a bunch of breadcrumbs or something in it, like meatloaf. Which, okay. You gotta do that to quite a few burgers before you're extending much of your meat, though. Down to 10 minutes on the cake. We've now got a hole in the pan here where a gravy is, so I think we're going to add a bit of water to this gravy. About a quarter cup of water in there now. I'm smelling smells with this cake. It's got me thinking, I think we're going to be okay with an hour. And so I'm going to risk it, and we're going to get started with the other parts to this deliciousness. We're going to take the rice off of the stove and bring that over here. Leave the lid on it, just take it off of the stove for the moment. grab our beef, which I sectioned off of ground beef earlier this week, so there isn't a ton of excitement to this, but I'm forming it into more of a patty inside of the bag. And give this a nice seasoning. There's a little residual butter in that pan too from earlier. Decisions. Still not there. Why you're not cooking tonight, burger? Certainly trying to grease up the edge of the pan here. I was expecting to be starting the egg around now. I guess I should have added breadcrumbs and manhandled a little bit more. If you notice, you can still see the like it's still like as it came out of the grinder practically. You can still see the strands going through it. Let's take a look at this cake. That looks like a cake. I'm gonna give it another 5 minutes though. Now we're getting a little color. It's not enough and it's too late. But we're getting some. What are you trying to do, camera? What's the close-up? I wasn't ready for that. Alright, we're taking this off and allowing this to rest for a moment in the pan up there. Now we got this lovely mess here that I am going to use this to scrape up rather than my spatula, or silicone spatula. Steamy. Now, I was thinking packing this bad boy up and putting it on top and trying to put everything on top of that. I don't think that's going to make it with that burger. So I am 86ing that plan. And we're just going to go for the mound of rice. Ow, we got a bit more water in here than I want. So we're going to allow this to sit for a moment and see if this doesn't evaporate some of that off. Soak some of that up. And that gives us a lovely chance to hit it with a bit more salt. And a bit of soy sauce. Green onion. Almost forgot. That's our cake. That looks on the edge of being unset. But I think it's barely there. Leave it set for a few. This will settle. I expect it to settle. I would have put that directly under the cutting board camera here if I didn't have the green onion half chopped. Anyways, here I want to give everyone a close-up on this cake before it completely deflates. Looking very nice and light and fluffy at this point. I'm hopeful I made the right thing here. Because that's got some poof to it. That's risen. Doesn't look too dark. Looks nicely browned. Like I said, the top here, it was jiggling like it was just barely there as far as cooked through. But then again, this was a very, like, this was, like, it had a couple of lumps, but it was, like, liquid when it went in the oven. Lots of dairy in this cake. Lots of egg in this cake. So we'll let that sit for a moment. We'll forget our gravy back here, apparently. We'll give that a stir up. Actually, I'm going to add a touch more water into that again, because it is too thick. Alright, now that we've completely forgotten the burger back there, time to cook an egg. I am going to move the cake back out of the way for a moment while we focus on dinner. We do 1 egg, 2 eggs? I think we're going to do 2 eggs. Why do I do that? I always know that this stove is the worst place on earth to crack an egg. Alright, let's get back to making this plate. We have our burger. We have gravy that I need a towel to grab. Heat's off on our eggs. Gravy smothering, condensing, commencing. And there we have Loco Moco. Gravy. And green onion. Where are you, camera? Why you no show? You're open, you're on. Huh. I guess that's not working for me tonight. Hi, step bro. So we have butter mochi cake minus coconut. And that's got to chill. This has got to chill at least an hour before break into it. But longer is probably better. This is definitely a... this is probably a great party cake, because make it ahead and bring it there, and it's not gonna... It's sort of a dense cake, and so it's probably not gonna be... You're not worried about it spilling. Why are we still on over here, oven? Let's turn that off. Let's get some photos going here. You ever make a dish and be like, nah, I can't eat that, it's way too... To be completely honest, like, no. But that's also because I'm the type of person that when I'm making the food, when other people could serve me a dish like that. Myself, I look at just about everything that I make and I'm like, well, I could have done this, I could have done that, maybe I should try doing that next time. It's never perfect in my mind. There is no achieving perfect in my mind. Which is sort of what that would be to me. Too beautiful to eat, that's perfect. So we got photos done. And that is what we got there. I think we got dinner. And it's Sunday, which means I'm back here tomorrow. I'm doing steaks frites tomorrow. I'm going to try and find myself a hanger steak. So we'll do a pan-seared hanger steak, hopefully. And I'm planning on doing twice fried, triple cooked fries. And what else are we doing? Chips, not fries, chips. I'm going to do some larger ones. And what else did I have planned for tomorrow? I don't know. But we're doing steak tomorrow. So I hope you join me tomorrow for that loveliness. I'm going to go eat this. This looks delicious. Like, I know that gravy is amazing to begin with. But the egg and the beef and just tasty beefy rice. Oh. And then we got cake, like, late night. Not on tonight. Okay. Well, anyways, I am going to leave it here for this lovely evening. I hope you have had a lovely weekend. I wish you luck into the beginning of your next week. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow when we're doing steak. Night, peoples.